to ESP, Electric Scooter Podcast, the best and the only electric scooter podcast as far as you know. Starring your host, Dagwood.
That's me.
Featuring Kira, which is me.
And I'm Dagwood. I'm your host. Today, some of the issues we are going to talk about right up front. If you could own any scooter, what scooter would you choose and why will be the first topic. Also, the most recent scoot adventure that you've been on and your favorite place to scoot. But first things first, our mission statement, and that is for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. Keep in mind as you listen to this podcast, which we claim to be the only electric scooter podcast on planet Earth, which may or may not be true. There could be somebody, deep in China or doing some foreign language. Undoubtedly, there is, but that's why we say we are the only and the best. At least for now, we can say we are the best electric scooter podcast as far as you know. So when I say for enthusiasts, by enthusiasts, I mean we are people who ride scooters. We're not dealers. We don't have a dog in the race. A lot of the YouTube channels, which I still like, which they're amazing. I really, I like Alien Rides. I like ESG, Ginger on Wheels. There's a lot of podcasts I watch I really like, and I respect those guys. They tear them apart, nuts and bolts, and do maximum speed runs, and they do minimum mileage tests, which I think is kind of cool. At least Ginger on Wheels does that. So if you really go up a lot of hills and you have it on the maximum speed mode and all that, when do you run out of juice? I like that. So for enthusiasts by enthusiasts, there's no company backing us, and we just tell it like it is. Hey, we like this scooter. We don't like that scooter. Here are things we like. Here are things we don't like. And we imagine our audience to be people who are interested in scooters, thinking about scooters, maybe getting into scooters, but not really sure how to take that first step of going online, laying your money down, and receiving that scooter. Because the way, frankly, that most people get their scooters in the United States is in a big box delivered by UPS. It would be wonderful if it was like a motorcycle shop or a car dealership where you could walk in and try different ones and take them for test rides. Since you can't do that, it's kind of a big leap. So we are here to provide that cushion to give you information that can help you spend your money. Okay, so the first topic of the day, Kira, what was it again?
The first topic of the day was if you could own any scooter, what would it be and why?
Did you look at some YouTube videos to make a decision, or did you ride a bunch of them? How did you come to your conclusion?
Well, I looked at some YouTube videos, and I did a little bit of research. That's how I came to the conclusions. I actually have two that I really like.
And let me ask you a question before you get into it and reveal the name, because I know everybody's waiting. What's it going to be? Was money a factor? Was it convenience, or did you just look at it as, if I could have any scooter in the world, boom, this is the one I would take?
Yeah, I looked at the features that I liked, and these two that I picked out had those features. The first price is a little high, but
hey, we have listeners that are poor, and we have listeners, I think Bill Gates is listening. Bill Gates might be getting into or Bezos, they might be getting into scootering, so they really don't care about money. So you just looked at it like clean slate. This is what I want. This is the scooter I would take, right? If somebody just said, I'm going to hand you a scooter, which one do you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one that I picked was the 010X because it has great off-roading and it goes up to 40 miles per hour. Yeah, very fast. This scooter is more of like a beast scooter, though. It's kind of big and it's a little pricey, but overall.
I like Zero. Another thing, I like the company Zero because they're so big that they have to respond to customer issues, and I have to believe that they have engineers that update things when they hear complaints from people. So there is an advantage to buying from a huge corporation, and that is one of my factors that I look at too when purchasing a scooter. I've bought 3 so far. So the Zero 10X, does it go off-road?
Yes, it does. It's very good with off-road.
Ooh.
Yes.
You know, that's
one of
important
its
for me.
biggest features.
So 40 miles per hour, it goes off-road and on the street. I don't know, is it available with knobby tires? Like the Wolf Warrior, you have a choice.
Yeah, I think it is. And also on the electric scooter guide, it was rated a 4.7 out of 5.
Ooh.
Yes.
4.7.
Very, very nice.
And those guys, they test scooters, man. They go out there and they do the full high tech. They have a little speed run that they do that they use as a barometer. It's a little test area that they do so that when they compare them, it's a pretty good comparison. So I imagine 4.7 out of 5 is pretty good.
Yes.
Anything else about I like the company Zero 10X. So 10X, I'm pretty sure the 10 refers to how many inches in circumference the wheels are. So I think the 10X, and I believe they have an 11X coming out, which is probably more of a competition for the Wolf Warrior, maybe more dedicated to off-road, more of a beast even, but probably a lot of money. I know the Wolf Warrior is like $3,000. Do you know how much the Zero 10X costs?
It is $1,700 to $2,400. Depending on how you outfit it. It also comes with dual motor.
Ooh.
Yes, very nice.
And how about the suspension?
Dual suspension.
Those are both kind of a big deal. I was riding the Zombie Wolf through off-road fields, and I came across this really silky talcum powdered like dust, and one motor didn't really cut it, but 2 motors, you just glide right through that thing. So kind of think of it as all-wheel drive as opposed to single-wheel drive. But there are other advantages to having dual motors. On long distance, I've heard of single motors like overheating. If you're going really, really far, they say make sure to, I say, click it into dual motor mode if you know you're going to be going, over 10 miles and back. And did you know what the range was on the Zero 10X?
I'm not sure. We can check.
Let's see. What do they claim? Again, it's going to depend on how you outfit it. But if you get the maximum everything, the $2,400 package, it's going to go 50 miles, they claim. And on the lower end, 35 miles if you get the single. Oh, no. They're all dual motor. I'm sorry. If you get the smaller battery, it's going to be 35 miles. And if you get the massive 60-volt battery, it's going to be 50 miles. Here we go. Speed 35 to 45 miles per hour. Range 35 to 60 miles per hour. It weighs 80 pounds.
Yeah, it's a bit heavy. It's more of the, monster scooter.
Do you have to carry scooters up and down stairs? Is that an issue for you?
Yes, kind of, but I do have a lot of people in my house so they can help out.
Do you have a garage?
Yes.
What I tend to do is I just keep them in the upright position, unfolded, and from the garage I just wheel it out and go. The only time I have to collapse it is to throw it in a truck. But 80 pounds is still 21 pounds lighter than the Zombie Wolf. So
wow.
It's not undoable.
That scooter weighs almost as much as me.
And the load capacity is 330 pounds. So you could You could get 2 people on there. I don't know if that would be safe. Make sure you both wear helmets.
Safety first.
Alrighty. Safety first. All these scooters, well, not all of them. Most of them are made in China. There are a couple made in Singapore, a couple made in Korea, and there's the Chiawa, which is made Qiewa, which is made in Taiwan, and the really high-end ones, if you are Bill Gates, are made in America. Like the Ryan. Did you have anything else to say about the 010X? That's your ultimate. That's the one you would get if you could get any scooter, right?
Well, I have 2 actually.
Okay.
So the next one is the eMove Cruiser.
So tell us about the eMove Cruiser. Why did you select that?
Well, it has a very long range, and also, if you remember from the last podcast, we were talking about if we could add any features to our scooters, and I was talking about blinkers, and guess what? The eMove Cruiser has blinkers.
Whoa.
Yes.
That is nice, you know. There's been a few times I've been riding out on the street that I kind of wished I could signal people which way I was going. Or even if you're riding in a group, you got 3-4 people behind you. It's kind of nice. Oh, going right, going
Yeah. It also comes in a nice orange color, which is very bright and appealing.
I do like orange.
Yes.
And what's the price of the eMove scooter?
It is about, I think, $2,000.
I'm literally pointing at the price for
I
you.
can't. Yeah, it looks
It's
like
$1,400.
Oh.
No, 1,399. So it's $1,400. It also comes in black, which I wouldn't get. Every scooter is black. Comes in white, and it comes in
Purple.
Look at that purple.
Wow.
That is kind of cool. I would go for the orange.
You could either get the bright colors or the more plain colors with the black and white. I'd probably get the purple.
Yeah, the purple is cool, but I think I would go for the orange. I just like that look. So, what strikes you about the eMove Cruiser? What is it you like about it?
Well, it does have long range, which is nice because a lot of times when we go on rides, we have to turn around and things because, you know, the battery runs out fast.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have long range, you can just keep going for a pretty long time. And yeah.
You can go up to 62 miles on a single charge. Wow. I'd be way tired after like 15 miles. I'm kind of done already.
Yeah.
62 miles. And I like the tubeless pneumatic tires because a tubeless, the thing about pneumatic tires, which just means tires with air in it, is that you're going to get a better ride. You're going to get cushioning. You know, some scooters don't even have suspension, but they do have pneumatic tires. So that helps with potholes and that kind of thing. With a pneumatic, what they claim to be car grade tire, you don't have any inner tubes. So you're less likely to actually get a flat. But you will. One of the biggest hassles of scooter ownership is flat tires. It's a compromise because if you get the spongy, air-filled, non-pneumatic, you never have to worry about a flat, but you're sliding around a little more, and the ride is not quite as good. So if you want a good ride, pneumatic is a good way to go. And tubeless pneumatic is about as good and as safe as you can go for cruising over gravel and going around corners and that kind of thing. So what else did you like about the eMove Cruiser? The looks are pretty cool, right?
Yes, it looks very cool.
It looks actually like it might have rims on it. It looks like chrome rims on the front.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks black in the back.
Mm-hmm. It also has the blinkers, which
Oh, yeah.
said.
You know, one thing that I don't like, it's not a big deal, the headlight is so low. It's mounted so low. So what you could do, though, is get a bicycle type light and put it on top. And you know, 90% of the scooters out there, that's one of the first accessories you want to get anyway. And it's cheaper than your first choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's got the anti-theft locking.
Oh, yeah,
key.
it does have the key. I don't see it as that big of problems, though, because I don't really lose that many things, but I could see it as a problem for other people.
I did get some feedback on that, and by the way, dagwoodstreets@gmail.com. If there's anything you want us to address, send me an email, or if you have any kind of feedback. Some of the feedback I got was that having a key would at least discourage those very low-level criminals, like some kid walking by and goes, "Oh, scooter, I think I'll just hop on it and go." You know, a U-lock is going to be optimum, a kryptonite lock or something like that. But I had a couple people say to me that if they're just popping into the store and they can look out and through the window still kind of see their scooter, having a key, they would like to have a key. It would be a good thing. It's not for me, definitely. I don't like it. I'm against it, but I have my own reasons. You know, I think you should take your scooter into the store or restaurant or wherever you're going. You should never leave it out. I notice it does have the QSS4, what looks like the QSS4 throttle, which I don't like as much as the mini motors. But again, this is $1,400. It's $300 cheaper than the base model 010X.
Yes.
So is this something that you're going to go off-road on, or is it more of a commuter? Or
A little bit of both, mostly just street, though. But yes, I would want it to go a little bit off-road, too.
I think it is more street-focused. It does have front and rear hybrid hydraulic brakes. Now, what that means, what you want is hydraulic brakes. The standard brakes are like on a bicycle. You have this metal wire that when you pull on the handle, the metal wire then engages the brake to clasp around the disc. This is hybrid. So you still have that metal wire, and you do have to adjust that the way the optimal comfort setting for your personal taste. But it still has hydraulics, so that is good. What you want is a full hydraulic system. That would be better, but this they call front and rear hybrid hydraulic brakes. So second best, not the best. Oh, you also have an option between a thumb throttle or twist throttle. Which do you prefer? Because you've ridden both.
Yeah, I prefer thumb throttle. I just find it a little bit easier. Yeah.
I initially liked the thumb throttle too, and it was because I think part of it was the novelty, and you can just rest your hand there and just kind of hold it. Mm-hmm. But I now prefer the finger throttle, and the reason is you can be more precise with your speed when you're letting off the speed or on the speed. I find
that's true too.
Yeah, I find the thumb throttle to be a little less accurate. But I must say that their thumb throttle, their version of the thumb throttle, does look better than the ones I've ridden. They also have a wide deck, which is good. I like the honeycomb or the cutouts on the front of the deck that hold it to the stem because it's a good place to put a U-lock.
Yeah.
Ooh, has a seat option. Was that you or Kaylani?
That was Kaylani.
That was Kaylani. She can talk about that later. So there is a seat option available. That's kind of funky looking. I prefer standing up. I don't want my butt bouncing around. Otherwise, I'd buy an electric. I have an electric bicycle. I do own an electric bicycle. I just ride that thing.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, though, because if your legs do get tired, you could always just put that seat on, and then there you go.
True. Or if you hurt yourself or you have sore knees or something like that, give yourself a little break. Or I wonder if you could put a passenger on there.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Somebody small, maybe, but your butt would be like right in their face. Right? So it looks cool. The price is good. Long distance. You have the hybrid hydraulic brakes. Easy foldable handlebars. That's helpful when you're tossing it into the trunk of your car. 62-mile range. Charging time, 9 to 12 hours.
You charge it overnight.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Exactly.
62 miles of range.
And it does have a water resistance rating, which they call IP. I don't know what that means, but when they say a scooter has an IP rating, that means it can get wet.
If it starts raining randomly, you'll be okay.
Yeah, you should be okay with some drops hitting it. And the weight is 52 pounds. So
That's not bad.
Yeah, it also weighs less than the 010X. Okay. All right, moving on to topic number 2, your most recent scoot adventure. Kira.
Well, the other day, me and you, we just went riding down the street, just around. We made a video. It was pretty fun. But before that, we did go to Mountain's Edge. It's nice. There was a trail. We just went on it. It was nice.
So first, let's talk about the first scoot adventure we went. Well, not our first ever, but the first one that you mentioned. And that's kind of an industrial area. There are a lot of big factories and brand new, smooth, freshly laid gravel. That was kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it was.
There's some little driveways you could kind of pull into and swoop around.
I like going around the buildings, though, because you have a bunch of space. You can just go roam freely.
You're not really worried about cars. Although we did come across that one guy in a truck.
Oh, yeah.
Staring right at his phone. He's not expecting a couple of people on scooters to come popping into his vision. So he's cruising behind this warehouse, just driving straight and completely oblivious to his surroundings. And when he looked up, he was kind of shocked, I think, to see us, but pretty easy to avoid him, right?
Yeah.
We just cut through. So you mentioned 2 very different types of scooting. It's not commuting, and it's not off-road. It's not going to the store to get something. It's still kind of a pleasure ride. But you're not at a park. You can find schools. Remember, we went to the dog park one time. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We went to a dog park. That was fun. There are a lot of places that you can scoot that are kind of non-conventional. We do have in our area a lot of warehouses, and there's not a lot of activity. So you got a lot of open pavement, and there's sidewalks, and it's all handicapped accessible, which is fantastic because when you get to curbs, well, jumping off a curb is fun, but going up one you probably don't want to do. And you're right. We did make a video about that one. And your second adventure was Mountain's Edge, which is a park in Las Vegas. Tell us about that.
Well, Mountain's Edge is very big. It has a more park area, then it has a huge field and a what is it called, baseball area?
Oh yeah, they have a baseball diamond with a lot of kind of like statues, like there's a big hand holding a baseball.
There's a bunch of architecture.
There's cement areas and there is AstroTurf.
Oh.
I have a video of me biting it pretty hard on the AstroTurf because I was going too fast. And if I would have just zipped across it, I would have been fine. But I think, hey, I'll cut a sharp turn now. And my buddy was filming, fortunately. So if you wipe out, you do want to catch it on film. So I put it in slow-mo, and I left the sound on the slow-mo. So instead of going, oh, it's like, oh, no.
Gotta add that dramatic effect.
Exactly. Reverse it a couple times, slow-mo.
Yeah.
So one of the other things cool about Mountain's Edge Park, and I think that may be a future topic, is we may scoot various parks and give kind of a review. I would give Mountain's Edge high marks because I really like There are three things that I really like about Mountain's Edge. One is the meandering pavement that goes for a couple miles in a giant...
Like the trail?
The trail, yeah. It's like a paved trail. And then there's that little teeny... It looks like it was made for practicing scooting, where it's a small dirt trail and you have all those plants in there and sharp turns.
Yeah. It's fun to go through. It's like a test to see who will fall and who won't.
Exactly.
Who will make it all the way.
They're like hairpin turns where you got to do slow speed maneuvering.
Very sharp turns.
And that's probably the most difficult thing to do. And it's on dirt, so I really like that. But on the Zombie Wolf, I love that big grassy area with the hills. Mm-hmm. You can just, it's almost like surfing, like you're hitting a big wave. Yeah. I really like that.
You do have to have a kind of off-road scooter to go on like the grass and the trails, though, because some of them don't do so well with that.
You're going to eat it just like I did on the AstroTurf if you don't. That's why I go for the all-terrain knobby tires. Okay, for our last question, favorite place to scoot. And you don't have to say a specific place, although you can if you want to, but we talked about trails, we talked about kind of commuting on streets, and we talked about factory areas, just in general. First, talk about in general what type of scooting you like to do, and then if you want to, you can name a specific place where you like to scoot.
Well, I like two different types of scootering. The first one would just be, cruising around the neighborhood or going to the store or something, just kind of like riding around.
It breaks the monotony of the day, doesn't it? If, you're sitting around and you're on your phone or watching YouTube or whatever, just jump up and motor off on the scooter, kind of get your adrenaline up a little bit.
And just adventure around the neighborhood and stuff. And another one would be going to the park or something, especially with trails and things. Yeah.
Plan your day around it. You say, hey, Tuesday, we're going to go to the park. So you get up and you pack up your gear or the night before, and everybody goes out and has a good time. And that's your day. You get something to eat. Last time we did it, we went to where your auntie was going to get engaged, and everybody knew it but her. And we kind of spied on them. We took the scooters. We had the helmets and sunglasses and stuff, and we tracked them as they walked through the park until they got to the spot where he was actually going to propose to her. And we let all the people that were waiting. And there was a significant number of people. All of both of their friends and relatives were there waiting to scream when he popped the question. So we did. So scooter espionage is apparently a thing.
I really did like that park, though. It had like a more grassy area and tree area. Then it had like kind of a desert area. And then an area that was just kind of in the middle with lakes and things.
Cha-cha, boochie, cha-cha, boochie, roll call!
That was the lovely and talented Kira, the sweetest voice in all of podcasting. And she'll be joining us on future episodes, as will Kaylani in a future episode. Answer the same questions. What scooter would you own? What scooter would you own? Kara happened to like the 010X and the eMove Cruiser. I can see why 010X. I like the off-road. The Cruiser has, long range, 60 miles. I'm sure it's way under 60 in actuality. That's the published maximum possible range. And Kaylani will also answer what her most recent scooter adventure was, as well as her favorite place to scoot. And now it's time for ESPN, the Electric Scooter Podcast News. Today, Foreign Edition. Many listeners may or may not know, but the Philippines is a hotbed of scootering. In fact, according to Teleradio, Since the pandemic started, sales of electric scooters in the Philippines have risen 110%. That's incredible. I am not surprised, knowing how strong the enthusiasm is in the Philippines for por electric scooting, for electric scooting. Napakadaming Pilipino ay talagang mahilig mag-scooter. So that's great, right? I mean, you see a lot of good videos, a lot of good photography coming from the Philippines. But there's a big but, a malaking puwet. And that is that they're talking about requiring a permit or some sort of license to ride a scooter. Yeah, I don't like that so much, okay? That's just for me, but I'm sure a lot of people don't like it either. Next in the news, a large Korean car maker that a lot of you may have heard of is planning to get into the electric scooter business. Actually, they're calling it the electric kick scooter. And this is the company that's already familiar with EVs like the Kona. And they also have the hybrid Sonata, of course. I'm talking about Hyundai. They're also teasing a new electric race car and some kind of retro-styled electric vehicle. But as it continues to expand its portfolio and the types of businesses it's reaching its tentacles into, it's going to create an electric scooter powered by a lithium battery with rear-wheel drive. That'll be another topic for a future episode, whether you prefer or would prefer rear-wheel or front-wheel drive. There are advantages to both, but this Hyundai scooter is going to be rear-wheel drive. It'll be equipped with a front-wheel suspension and LED headlamps, a couple rear tail lamps. It doesn't weigh much, under 20 pounds. Tri-folding design for portability, digital display that shows your battery status and your current miles per hour. But what's kind of cool about it, I think, is it charges automatically when it's inside of your vehicle. So the electricity that's produced by your Hyundai car that you're driving is what recharges the scooter's battery. I like that. They plan to enable this kind of setup by just integrating the charging system in their future models, and that would include Hyundai and Kia. Interesting. That's it for the news, and at about 33 minutes, coming up on 34 minutes, that wraps up this episode 2 of Electric Scooter Podcast. I'm your host, Dagwood Streets with an S at gmail.com. Be sure to get in touch with me for any scooter issues you would like to have us talk about. We're available, aside from the platform you're obviously listening to us now, on YouTube, which has podcasts apparently. Also, Deezer, soon to be on iTunes and Amazon. They're under review now because I've only recently submitted my first episode. And Spreaker, Spreaker. Those are all podcast listening platforms. If there's interest for us to show up on iHeart or any other popular podcast vehicles that I'm unaware of, again, you know how to get in touch with me. Dagwoodstreets at gmail.com. Once again, keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down.